I recently got hired by a law enforcement agency. Now, a lot of guys I work with do very well with ladies. This comports with a recent video of yours, which explains why girls like certain types of risk-taking guys, so it makes sense. I'd never even dream of approaching a woman on duty, but my question is about off-duty. Given what my coworkers say about the attraction that profession generates, do you suggest that I game with my badge exposed when I'm off-duty? I usually wear the hanging neck badge anyway while I'm off-duty, and just out and about, but I've never approached a woman with my badge exposed. Thoughts about day gaming off-duty with my badge exposed? So it depends. And it's not a game question why it depends. It's more of a, like, would it be considered improper conduct or unethical or something like that? Because, I mean, if it's something where you have a badge, there's a certain level of authority there, and you wouldn't want to be misusing your authority in any way, shape, or form. So I'd be cautious of that. You could do it with your badge exposed. Try not to be, like, super obvious and blatant about it like you're trying, but you could try it. I mean, the right answer is field test. The right answer from a game perspective is field test it, and I assume it might work pretty well. The other thing you can do, badge exposed or not, is just when you do get into the get to know you segments with girls, you tell them what you do, that's already there. So it's already kind of come up in any kind of good interaction. So the main thing that having it exposed would help you with is it would help you with the initial hook, right? So if you're having trouble getting the initial hook and you think that having your badge exposed will help you hook, by all means you could use it as a crutch. It's something you'd like to get over at some point because you'll develop better game by not having to rely on it. And it's also something that's going to come up in the conversation anyway in any kind of good interaction. So it's not a big deal. But yeah, by all means, field test it. See, I could see it working. There's definitely like a possibility. And what'll probably happen is it may work a little bit in general. There's probably a segment of girls. There's probably a certain slice of the female population that's very into guys in uniform, guys with badges, guys in authority, that kind of stuff, who will respond very positively to it. And so you probably get good response off that, but you need to ask yourself, is that the demographic you want to go for? And it may be that you do it, maybe that you don't. I'm not judging one way or another. There's not a right or wrong answer to that, but it is a question you should ask yourself, right? So you want to ask yourself, when you're talking about doing something a little gimmicky for game, you want to ask yourself two things. One, will it work? But then two, what are the side consequences? What are the ancillary consequences of it? I'll give you an example. When I was playing poker, there's this really hot cocktail waitress that was working at the casino. I actually had never seen her before. It was the first day I'd seen her. But she came around my table and we, made eye contact a little bit. There was this guy being obnoxious next to me, so I kind of looked at her and we rolled our eyes together and had a moment, right? And so this is good. And then the next time she came around, I kind of joked with her a little bit and just talked just briefly while she was preparing a drink for someone. And so there was a little bit of a vibe there, right? So the third time she came around, we still had that vibe. At this point, I was down I was losing $8,000 or something like that, some crazy number. And so I basically told him hey, I'm down $8,000 or I'm having an awful day. But you're very cute. So if I get back to even today, I would love to take you for dinner. If I don't get back to even, I'm probably gonna be exhausted and miserable and not gonna want to see anyone. But one way or another. So sounds good. So then I, played out the session through during her shift, and I won back a bunch of it. And then when she went on break, I went and bought a bunch of chips at the window and just put them down so it looked like I'd won just a shit ton. And then I cashed out and then invited her for dinner. I told her I'm actually exhausted right now. There's no way I'm doing dinner tonight, but let's do it some other time. Exchange numbers, and then we went on a date and we started hooking up. And what I had done there is I kind of played the baller card, right? I kind of played the rich guy. I made this much money during your shift kind of card, right? And it was very effective. It worked, right? Except the funny thing is, what ended up happening after a few weeks, we're hanging out, hooking up, whatever. And then there was a big tournament in town, and a lot of the really big poker players, the sponsored guys you see on TV, came into town. And then one of them kind of swept her away by playing the baller card better, because he was actually the baller I was portraying, and then some, right? And so you want to be careful of things like that. Understand that there are ancillary consequences to whatever means you use or whatever gimmick you use to get girls. And I don't know what the ancillary consequences to the badge thing would be. It could be that they expect you to behave in a certain way around them or something, or they expect that if something happens, you'll always be the one to handle it and take charge and whatnot, which could be fine. But just understand that how you get into the relationship and the premise that you develop does determine other things in the relationship. So you just want to be okay with whatever you're putting out there. So that'd be my advice to you. And then the biggest piece of advice is have the abundance to realize you don't want to mess up a work situation over a girl. So don't go that route with it. how come one can get a friendly day two? Is weekend better for a day two then? Jeff said people have plans on the weekend. But I see you say there won't be meetings and classes. What time is the best? It depends. It depends. The reason why Jeffy would say not to do a day two on the weekend is because he wants to use the weekend to pick up new girls. All right, that's the reason to not do day twos on the weekend. There are two reasons. One is because you want to use the weekend to pick up new girls. Two is because, in theory, if you do the first date on a weekend, it makes it seem like a bigger deal. So it's more likely to put the girl in like the relationship frame. All right, so those are the two reasons not to do it on the weekend. But that said, weekends are when people are free, and I'm totally fine with day twos. Like in a vacuum, the day two itself, day two on a weekend is totally fine. My favorite time to do a weekend is like Sunday afternoon, or not to do a day two. My favorite time to do a weekend. My favorite time to do a day two actually is like an early Sunday afternoon where you have all day to get to know the girl, and it goes like day to night and then to sex. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. But yeah, I wouldn't overthink it too much. Basically, you want to create a situation where good things can happen. And whether that ends up being weekday or weekend is going to depend on the specific girl. Okay, how to handle other guys entering sets in social circle scenarios. Sets in social circle scenarios. That's a tongue twister. And how to be alpha in those scenarios. Okay, so it all depends. It all depends on what the nature of the social circle is, what your status within the social circle is, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Generally, what you want to do in those situations is you want to essentially be more alpha, but you need to be alpha in a friendly way. Okay, and that's what alphaness should be. Alphaness should not be competing and getting in someone's face and getting aggressive with them. It should be being socially cooler than them, like being actively socially cooler than them, and just being fun and cool and involved. So, guy comes into your set, she even set? Yeah, he comes into your set, which, by the way, in a social circle, is not even really a set. It's a little bit of a different thing. It's more he comes into your conversation. But anyway, comes into your conversation. And you need to assess a few different things. Does the girl want him there or not? Right? If the girl doesn't really want him there, et cetera, you could be a little bit like just friendly, dismissive a little bit. Yeah, cool, man. Awesome. Good to meet you. Yeah, take it. I'll catch up with you in a little bit. Right? And then just dismiss him, and that's fine. That could work. Totally fine. If it is social and friendly, or she's a friend of the girl, or that kind of stuff, or he's a friend of the girl, then in that case, what you need to do is just stay a participant in the conversation. And stay good-natured and fun and happy, and be the guy that's kind of dictating the frame, dictating the ideas in the conversation, dictating the conversational topics, the one making the jokes, that kind of stuff, but in a positive way. You never be like, this guy's an asshole. You never get a negative and bitter. What you even do is you might even give him compliments that are that could be misconstrued by people that don't understand. But give him comments that are positive. Don't say compliments. Give him positive comments that basically put him on the spot or put him in awkward situations or put the pressure on him and that kind of stuff. So you can call it, be like, wow, you're really smooth. You're like the Uber player. I love this. This guy's awesome. Pat him on the chest or something like that, right? This is very positive, but it's very it's very sort of condescending and very much putting him on the spot and calling him out a little bit. Does that make sense? That's just one example. But the best answer in a social circle is just to be the high-value guy in the social circle. There are times in certain social circles, like say, for example, you're at a party and this is the dude that, is hosting the party. It's very tough. It's very tough because people are there for him, and then the social circle is built around and by him. And that'll happen sometimes, right? So ensuring your place and status within the social circle you're in is the first step, so that you have the sort of leverage to do various things. But if you're kind of an equal social value level or higher, then you want to just be the alpha guy, be fun, be positive, etc. There are some times in social circle situations where I'm not going to say to actively leave the set when a guy comes in because that's pretty weak, but I will say you don't necessarily have to be babysitting the girl 24/7. You don't have to be at her side the whole time. You can let her talk to other people, let her mingle, and be confident in the fact that you can reopen her when you want to, once there is a good established relationship too. Social circle tends to develop a lot more slowly than, say, a cold approach scenario. So be aware of that as well. But that's a pretty general, that's an entire product almost. How to handle, it's not almost, it's like a third of a product, right? How to handle other guys in social situations and social circle situations, that almost could be its own product. So there's a lot of variety. There's a lot of it depends. There's a lot of this case, that case, the other case. What's the nature of the social circle? What's the nature of the guy? What's their relationship? It's not a question I can really answer explicitly for you. I can give you guidelines, but that's it. All right, we'll go to this one. I've already answered some from you, but I'll answer one more before we cut them off. I asked what you do. I asked you what you do if you've been hanging out with a girl. You notice she starts to act very aloof via text. In general, we recommend to go back to primary sending offer. Okay, I'm doing it like, oh, no, 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 no. So you never want to. Here's the general thing. He basically said like, so you've been offering value to the girl and she's acting distant. You call her up like, why are you acting distant? No, 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 no. You don't want to get reactive in game. Okay. The fundamental premise in game, you don't talk about the game in the game. Okay. Don't talk about the game in the game. Don't get reactive. Okay. The fundamental thing, one of the fundamental things in game that makes you attractive is the fact that you have abundance and you don't care that much about a particular girl. As soon as you're like, why are you ignoring me? Why are you not this? Why are you not that? Even a girl flakes on you, like, why would you flake on me? Granted, like, she's in the wrong to flake on you. It's fucked up that she flaked on you. She shouldn't have done that. It's not polite. It's not socially normal. It's not okay. But that said, if you still want to sleep with her, calling it out and making a big deal of it just makes you look desperate and needy and butthurt. So it's still just, you don't address that, okay? You don't talk about the game in the game. And especially when things are going badly, you don't bring attention to the fact that they're going badly. You bluster through and you figure out a way to get things like to cut that off and get things moving in a positive direction again, and that's it. But calling out when things are going badly, calling out that you got rejected, calling out that she's being dismissive, all those kind of things make you look butthurt, which makes you look low value and make it call attention to the fact that you're getting a low value response. So all those things are just completely shooting yourself in the foot. I highly, highly, highly advise against those. Okay, let's see. Okay, we got a few of the same. Okay, you got a new person here. Okay. Some recent date activities involved my dates acting like they needed assistance. For hiking, one asked for arm reach even though it was super easy. A different girl heading to the bar and she suddenly had knee pain, so I offered to assist her in limping to the bar. I assisted both situations, but I just want to check if these are sort of like shit tests. Should I call their bluffs if they're just bluffing and not serious? No, it's fine. Can help girls out. Look, here's the metric. So basically what we're asking is it supplicating, right? If I'm helping them out, if I'm like being the white knight a little bit, helping, is that bad? Is that putting me in like the provider frame, the beta male frame, et cetera, et cetera? Ask yourself this. What would you do if it was like a good friend of yours? If it was a good, solid friend of yours, okay? In the case of if they actually like hurt their knee and they're limping, yeah, you'd help them. Of course you would. That's just like general human courtesy and kindness, right? That's not being a beta male. That's just being a good person, right? That's totally fine. The handhold thing, there's two ways you can go. One is just help her out, and that's fine. And I think that's completely fine. You're just being like, girls want you to lead, and girls want you to take charge of situations, and that's alpha as well. That's a different form of alpha, so that's also positive. If it truly is an easy one she's asking you for, one is you could just help her just because, and again, take that role of leader, helper, et cetera. And maybe she even wants you to, right? Maybe she's even like, that's her blueprint. Her blueprint is she likes a guy to take charge and likes a guy to make her feel safe and protected. And helping her out makes her feel safe and protected. It's very positive. Very possible. The other thing that you could do with some girls, like if you get the vibe that she thinks she's the shit and then she has that thing, you could kind of tease her for it a little bit, right? In the same way that if you had a friend that you knew he could do this thing and he's asking your help for it, you could give him shit about it. You can do that yourself. Come on, right? I mean, that's a fine response as well. But there's certainly nothing wrong in a general sense with if somebody needs help, helping them. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, the problem that guys get into is they get into this thing where it's like they don't believe in themselves game-wise, and so they think their value comes just from helping the other person. It's like this white knight beta male value as opposed to real alpha male value, right? So you want to take the premise and take the idea that that you're valuable as is, and you're just helping them as a nice thing, as opposed to you're helping them because they owe you something, or you're helping them to show how much of a white knight you can be. So that's what you want to really steer clear of. But these specific situations, helping out is just being a normal human being.